guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a crazy busy last couple of weeks. We're winding down summer. It's the end of August. You guys know I am not a perpetuator of fall coming early, but it's about to be September and those are pretty fall vibes to me. I always wait till the end of August because my birthday is the 24th. It's actually today as I'm recording this. And after my birthday, you know, when September comes along, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for like all the pumpkin things. Don't get me wrong. It's really hard for me to let summer go as just a summer loving girly. It's my favorite season. It goes by so fast with all the plans and fun things that I do. So the last couple of weeks have just been crazy. I did my NoahCon haul video. So you guys know I went and saw NoahCon in St. Louis a few weeks ago. The weekend after that, I actually saw the Goo Goo Dolls in Bloomington, Illinois, and I just love them so much. I'm really such a big fan of them. Obviously, they ended out the show with Iris, which was like so cathartic and wonderful to be able to sing live with a whole room full of people. But also like we saw Naked live, we saw Name live, like they were just wonderful. They sound exactly the same and it was just like the best. Leading up to the Goo Goo Dolls concert, I was really getting a lot of this like 90s nostalgia, which to be clear, I know nothing about because I was born in 2000, I'm 26. I'm the part of Gen Z where I grew up without tablets, without smartphones, like none of that stuff really existed until I was like a teenager, and it definitely wasn't as prevalent as it is today. I'm so thankful that I had a childhood where I was like tablet free, I didn't have screens or screen time or any of that stuff, like I could still go outside and be a kid, which I think kids today are kind of robbed of a little bit. I watched Sex and the City for the first time last year, and I've already binged it 3 more times after that because I love it so much. And listen, like I'm obviously like somebody who creates content. I'm on social media. Like I am on my phone. I don't want to be like, I'm never on my phone. I'm always in the moment, whatever. Like that's actually what I want to talk to you guys about today is kind of balancing the two. But like whenever I think back to the 90s or I'm watching Sex and the City and kind of seeing those times, I'm always like a little bit jealous of people who spent like their teens and 20s without phone. We could talk about the pros and cons of those things all day long. I know that there are some things that we are afforded today that people in the 90s and 80s were not because of technology and smart devices. So, you know, it's just kind of like grass is always greener. There's a scene in the first season of Sex and the City where Carrie and her friends go out to this bar and it's like, they went out to the bar and they were like dancing and everybody was just like there to vibe and they couldn't like rely on their phones when they felt awkward and didn't want to talk to anybody. Like you were going out to meet new people and talk to new people because that was the only thing to do. Like you didn't have like social media to bed rot all day. I am an extremely extroverted person. I really feel like I can walk into a room of people I don't know and make friends pretty easily. Like I feel like I know how to talk to people pretty well. The thing that I struggle with a little bit is I run into a lot of like maybe socially awkward people who I can tell don't really know how to like reciprocate questions or like start a conversation. I was just at a wedding this weekend where I knew literally almost nobody. My boyfriend was in the wedding, so I was by myself a lot of the time. And I sort of found some people that I could like talk to and be cool with. And I could just tell that like they liked that I was talking to them, but I feel like they didn't completely know how to like respond to me and like keep the conversation going. And not everybody is an extrovert and not everybody feels comfortable talking to strangers or knows how to talk to strangers. And I totally understand that. One of the things I noticed about the Goo Goo Dolls is there was some time in between the opening band, which was Neon Trees, when they performed, then obviously when the Goo Goo Dolls were going to perform. And there's like a little bit of time in between there when like the lights came up and people were getting up and getting drinks and sitting in their seats and just kind of waiting. And I remember just like looking around and everybody is like on their phone. And I remember thinking like, if we had been in like the 80s or 90s during this moment, like everybody would be like chatting to the person next to them or like, you know, asking if they'd seen the band before or like starting up these conversations because there would be nothing else for them to do. And that's something that I notice a lot about smartphones is it's easy to rely on them when you feel awkward instead of like meeting new people or making new friends. And listen, we could talk all day about smartphones and devices and the impacts they've had on society and the pros and cons of each generation. And like I said, the grass is always greener on the other side. Like that is really not the point of this video, but the concert kind of like brought me to this idea for doing this video because I think concerts are where I struggle with this a lot, which is I want to talk about finding the balance between living in the moment and capturing the moment. I think this is the perfect time to talk about this because it's summertime, everybody is traveling, everybody has concerts they're going to, they're doing stuff outside, they're looking hot while doing it. So I have been making content for most of my life. I'm 26. I had a YouTube channel when I was like 12 years old. But I really got serious about it in 2020 in the COVID times. I started posting on TikTok, my outfits. I do a lot of plus size fashion over there. Several videos go viral over on TikTok. I have over 200,000 followers. However, I'm coming from a place where content creation is not my full-time job. It's really my passion project. I just enjoy sitting down, yapping to the camera, talking about fashion, talking about all things plus size. Because when I was a kid, I loved watching plus size YouTubers. Like some of my favorite plus size YouTubers were Loey Lane and Learning to Be Fearless, who now goes by Alexandra Rodriguez. And just seeing people who looked like me really like honestly changed my life, like gave me a lot of confidence and really put me into my own self and helped me to kind of discover the part of me that loved expressing myself through my clothes and colors and whimsical stuff. And I just credit a lot of that to content creators. I think that business is really important. I make videos because I love making videos. I don't have a full-time income off of content creation. I think it would be really hard to have a work-life balance if you are a full-time content creator. So obviously the way that I look at this may be a little bit different from somebody who completely relies on content creation to pay their bills and make their living. I'm coming from a point where I do have an audience and I love to create, but I don't make my full-time income off of that. I also think we're in an era where so many people are interested in content creation. And even aside from that, even if you're not interested in like creating content or being an influencer, right? A lot of people are still wanting to capture their memories and take photos and run their Instagrams. And even if it's not like for making money purposes, like I feel like Instagram is so prevalent, Facebook is so prevalent. Everybody wants to post their life everywhere, regardless of if you feel like it's for an audience or if you're just kind of capturing your memories, everyone is doing it. So it's sort of like, where exactly does that land us? This is something that I say all the time. I have a series over on my TikTok called Haley's Long Hauls where I document some of my road trips. And I tell my friends all the time, you really have to walk the line of living in the moment versus capturing the moment. It's really, really tough. In my experience, the reality is it's really, really tough to do both. If you're trying to get the moment, you're trying to capture exactly the moment, sometimes you have to try to do it 2 or 3 times versus if you're like really just kind of in it and like living through the moment, you don't want to remember yourself just being on your phone, taking the video, taking the photo, like you have to be in it. So it's really, really hard to do both and you do have to find a balance. I think concerts are a great place to start because everybody always makes the joke, like don't post the concert on your Snapchat story. I don't want to watch an hour-long video of the concert you're at. I don't care, blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I watch a concert story, okay? I totally do subscribe that you should not be posting the whole damn concert on your story. I don't wanna watch it for an hour, but I will watch like 1 or 2 10 or 15 minute clips of your concert. I think it's fun, I like to see it. And I also like to have clips from the concerts I go to. I have an entire highlight on my Instagram labeled concerts, and I don't need anybody else to watch them. I don't really give a fuck if anybody else watches them. I go back and watch them all the time. I like to see my Taylor Swift videos. I like to see my Shinedown videos. I like to just go through and be like, oh my gosh, I remember this. I love it so much. And I always try to record the songs that I love, and those are the ones that I post because I will go back and watch them. And I don't really care if anybody else wants to. They're really for me. Also, I'm gonna tell you, I don't wanna look back on that concert and all I remember is just me trying to get the video. Like that is really not my goal either. So something that I do to really try to keep that balance is I always think about the artist that I'm going to see, and I think about maybe 1 or 2 of like my favorite songs from them or favorite moments from a song where like I know I want to get that song. That's the one I know that I want to post. That's the one I want to look back on. But also I want to think about like one of my favorite things with concerts is that I get to scream, sing along with a stadium full of other fans and like really have that moment where I can dance and experience my favorite songs. So I always try to pick out like what are the parts that I want to like be in the moment, sing and dance along to right there at the concert, and then what are the moments that I want to record and look back on later. For example, I just went and saw Noah Kahan. 2 of my absolute favorite songs off that album, Staying Still and Haircut, right? So Staying Still, I love the bridge. It's like my favorite part of the song. And I just like have this vision in my head. Like I want to be singing that with everybody in the stadium, but I want to get the shot of like Noah singing the bridge, getting the beat, you know, and then like panning out to the audience during the like last chorus. You guys, if you know, you know. And so I made it a point to enjoy the first 2 verses of the song. I was singing, I was dancing, singing to my friends with me. And then when it was time for the bridge, I took my phone out, recorded the bridge, got the shot that I wanted, put my phone back. With Haircut, it was actually the opposite. So I wanted to get a snippet of Haircut because I love the song so much, but I wanted to scream that bridge, the part where he's like, save it for the microphone. I wanted to scream that in a stadium full of everyone else. So that's exactly what I did. I got the shot of maybe the first verse and maybe some of the other lyrics in the song. And then after that, I put my phone in my pocket and I got ready for that damn bridge, and it was exactly everything I needed it to be. Obviously, it's your memories, it's your concert, you're gonna do whatever you wanna do, but really try to like pick out the parts where you're like, I want a video of this, I want to be able to look back on this and sing along to my video, but I also want parts of it to be like me just in the moment, hanging out with my friends, singing it in the concert, because that is like the whole point of the concert, sing and scream along to it. Applied the same exact concept to the Goo Goo Dolls concert. Obviously, Iris is so cathartic to be able to like sing in a stadium full of people. I knew that I both wanted to sing parts of that song and also capture it, because that is like the iconic Goo Goo Dolls song. I don't care who you are, I don't care what you say. I know that's like the one song everybody knows, but it is, that song is iconic, and I knew that I wanted a little bit of both. So I did that. I sang most of the song, and then when the chorus came out and all the confetti came down, I was recording it. I wanted to have that memory like saved on my phone and documented. Some of my best friends who are probably gonna watch this, her and her husband kind of take turns. So if it's an artist that like she likes a little bit more, her husband will record a lot of the stuff for her to look back on later. And then vice versa. If it's like a band that he really loves, she'll do more of the recording so that he can be in the moment. I think that's awesome to kind of have like a buddy like that, where it's like, if you like this artist a little bit more, like you can be in the moment and sing along, and then your partner is going to record for you. I think that's also a really great balance. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks as long as you're having fun. But those are just some things that I think are really good to have in mind. I also think when it comes to like taking photos, that it's really important to give yourself enough time to do these things. My friend and I for NoahCon, we got into the stadium as soon as it opened, super early, because we knew we wanted a shot of the stage, like up in the stands. I'm sorry. We ended up getting the shot we wanted because we were there early enough to give ourselves enough time to get the photo. So it's also like, be realistic about some of the things you want. If you want a lot of photos, like make a plan with your group or whoever you're going with, or if you're going by yourself, like go early and like find somebody to take the photo. It's also a lot of content right now from people saying that they are not having fun until they get the shot that they want. And I totally understand feeling like that, especially when you're taking your social media super seriously. I think it's really important to remember that it's all in good fun. I've definitely been like this. I'm definitely the person sometimes where like I have a shot in my head, and if I'm not getting it, like I'm getting a little frustrated. But it's also important to like come back down to earth and touch grass a little bit and be like, okay, like I'm still having so much fun. Like maybe it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to, but I'm gonna be okay in the grand scheme of things. Like if this is my only problem, like I'm okay. I know we're talking about like first world problems here, but I think it is like an important conversation to have. Okay, I'm gonna flip a little bit to kind of the traveling side of documenting your memories. And I have a trip to New England in 2 weeks. As you guys know, I'm super excited. As somebody who knows that I want to make some travel vlogs and make some content out of that, I'm constantly planning. And again, this is why I say like doing content full time has to be really, really tough, because there's a lot of planning that goes into it. And I'm not gonna sit here and say like try being an influencer for the day. I know that it's not like a super hard, tough job. I work a corporate 9 to 5. Trust me, that's not where I'm coming from. There is a lot of planning that goes into it. It's not just like whip your phone out and get it. Like you really have to kind of think these things out. I really have gotten into trying to do like more physical copies of photos. I have an entire photo album that I want to fill up with a bunch of photos. I think I'm gonna make a video on putting that together at a later time. When it comes to my Haley's Long Hauls over on TikTok, I originally started those when my boyfriend and I actually were gifted tickets to the Museum of Illusions in St. Louis, Missouri. And I think that's a little bit different. It was more, we were celebrating our anniversary, but we did get these free tickets where I was obligated to make content for the museum. And I'm so grateful to have gotten obviously gifted tickets, and like that's not an experience that everybody gets to have. And so I was so thankful for it. But obviously I was there to make content. So that was a little bit different because like we had to stay and get the shot. On the flip side of that, a year later, I ended up going to New Orleans with my best friend. We went and saw Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour, and it was honestly like one of the best weekend trips of my life. And I didn't get a single ounce of like good TikTok content. Like I didn't get any videos. I got tons of fabulous photos. I got a little bit of videos, but I was so busy and like preoccupied during that trip that I really just had to like give up on it a little bit. Like I originally wanted to do a long hauls video, but when you're in the moment, you're in the moment. And I ultimately just didn't get any content from that. And that was okay. Like that was fine with me. I just accepted that. That same year, I took a trip to Amsterdam and the Netherlands and Belgium. And I also did not make any like long haul vlog or long form content with that, just because again, like I was so in the moment, I was so busy with my travel plans that I really just kind of had to let that go and take the photos that I wanted and say, no videos this time around. So as I get more and more used to shooting content, creating content, editing content. I'm getting better at kind of taking moments that maybe aren't like perfectly curated and making something cool out of it. So I think it also comes with a little bit of experience, but sometimes you just don't get the shot and that's okay. You just need to like sit down and plan out what's important to you. I know that when I go to Maine, I want to get photos in front of the lighthouses. That's going to be like something that I really want. I also know that I want to sit down and enjoy a lobster roll. So I may take like a short video or a short clip of that, but I'm going to like put my phone down and enjoy the lobster roll, right? So those are some things that I'm thinking about before my trip. I also know that I want to make a vlog out of it. I know that it's going to be really great for a vlog to look back on. I want all my friends to be able to look back on it too. So I know that that's something I'm going to do. However, I'm not going to like spend every single waking second of the day trying to get a video or a photo. Also, think about who you're with when you're traveling. I literally die at all of these videos of people trying to teach their parents how to take photos. So I have a few people in my life that I travel with, which I'm so thankful for, just like knowing so many people who love to travel. Like I love that. And so the three main people that I travel with are my grandma, my boyfriend, my best friend, okay? And these are three completely different experiences when it comes to shooting videos or photos or what have you. On the one hand, you have my best friend who we take photos and videos for each other, of each other. We know the angles and we're gonna stay until the job is done. But also we know each other's angles and what each other likes so much that we don't really have to stand there and take a million photos to get the shot. Sometimes we do. And it really is that TikTok video where it's like, you're gonna work until the work is done. But for the most part, we kind of know what each other wants. We know how to pose each other. We know what's gonna make a great shot. And usually we can get it in like 10 or 20 photos versus like my boyfriend, he's really still in training. Like I'm still trying to train him on how to get like a good shot, where the angles are. Honestly, everyone in my life is pretty supportive of like me making content and shooting videos, and like I'm so lucky to have people around me who are like, oh, this would be a great TikTok, or like, this would be a great shot for you. And like, they like encourage me to do it. And my boyfriend is very, very encouraging, but he does have like, you know, after like maybe 20 or 30 pictures, he's like, okay, like, are we done with this? We went to Michigan a couple of years ago and I really, really wanted like the sunset photo. I had this like little mermaid dress on. I had like seashell earrings, and I just knew I wanted the water in the background. I wanted the sand, the sunset coming down. And I had that man standing on the beach maybe for like a half hour, 45 minutes. Wanna be in the video? I think Waffles wanted to say hi. Hi, buddy. Hi, YouTube. Also, I've definitely been in situations where I maybe like was getting a little too crazy about not getting the photo, right? Like we were standing on the beach and I kept looking at the photos like, this isn't the right angle, this isn't the right shot. And then I sort of like looked around and realized like, oh my gosh, I've wasted so much of our time trying to get this photo and we haven't been able to actually like sit down and enjoy the water and the sunset. So it's like, I kind of have to keep myself in check sometimes, which I know might sound crazy, but you really do have to kind of like look around and be like, okay, chill the fuck out. After that, we sat down in our chairs, we watched the sun go down, we watched the waves. It was so relaxing. And then I went back to the hotel and looked through the photos and I was like, actually, these are fire. And I actually have some of my favorite photos ever from that trip. And I actually loved how they turned out. But sometimes you need a little bit of time in between like the stress of like trying to pose and get the shot that you want and look how you want to look, right? And then like between looking at the photos and really deciding if there's a good one. Because sometimes when you're in the moment, you're like, just shoot as many as you can and we'll look at them later. So just all that to say, like think about who you are with on your vacation, right? My grandma is somebody who she'll take 2 photos of me and she's not taking any more. Like she doesn't understand why she needs to take a million of them. She's like, we're snapping 2. So I know that when I'm on a trip with my grandma, like I just get what I get. Like I'm gonna have to crop out some things. I'm gonna have to maybe like Photoshop event out is what it is, because she's not taking more than like 2 or 3 pictures of me. I also think it's really great to put time limits on yourself, which I think probably sounds a little bit insane for me to say, but I think it's good to kind of look at something and say, okay, so like we're going to the beach at sunset. I'm gonna give myself 20 minutes to take the photos. I'm gonna arrive a little bit early. I'm gonna get all set up and I have 20 minutes to get the shot. And after the 20 minutes, it's like we're putting the camera down, we're putting the phone down, we're putting all that stuff down, and we're going to enjoy the moment. That's if that's what you wanna do. On the other hand, if like all you wanna do all night is take photos, that's totally up to you. It's your trip, it's your decision. But for me, like I do want a little bit of both, and in order to keep that balance, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do 20 minutes and that's it. I also am not against practicing in the mirror a little bit. Like I know some of the shots that I want when I go to New England, and sometimes I'd be in the mirror like, okay, I'm gonna do this little pose and I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Sometimes you don't know till you get there. For my birthday a couple years ago, we went to this apple orchard and they were doing like a little bonfire and they had a sunflower field, and it was just so aesthetic, so beautiful, so much fun. And I went with a group of my friends and I wanted these photos in the sunflower field and I wanted them in the apple orchard and I wanted to go pick the wildflowers and do all this other stuff. And I remember when we came back to the bonfire, I was like, oh my gosh, like I've spent all this time taking all these photos that I haven't actually gotten to like sit down and eat my s'mores and like spend the day with my group of friends. Also, at the end of the day, as somebody who has been creating content for many, many years of my life, the best advice I can give you is it's really not that serious. And I don't want you to look back on your life and think like, oh my gosh, I was performing for an audience this whole time. All I remember about this one specific day is I was on my phone the whole time trying to look at my photos and look at my videos and make sure I got the shot. It's really, really easy to do and we're all guilty of it, but try not to let your phone and your social media consume your brain. You shouldn't be ashamed that you like to take photos. I know that like planning a photo shoot, all that stuff is very creative and it is a hobby and it's really fun and a lot of people love to do it. But on the flip side of that, like don't make your whole life about creating content just because that's kind of like the new hip thing that people do. Did I really just say hip thing? Oh my God. So those are some of the ways that I balance capturing the moment versus living in the moment. I would love to hear from you on how you like to do this as well. This is something you've thought about, you like to create content, how you're kind of balancing everything yourself, or if you feel like there's maybe no line or no balance, tell me about that too. Drop a comment down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I post new videos every single week and I'll see you next time. Bye.